River City Podcast Federation.
Welcome back to Laughing in the Dark, the podcast where I hang out in haunted places with comedians. I'm your host, Sara Jones. For this episode, I got to hang out with a super funny Portland comedian named Nariko Ott. Nariko was named Portland's funniest person in 2016 and is the co-host of one of my favorite podcasts, What's More Metal. He is an extremely funny guy and we had so much fun. Nariko and I hung out late one night at what we thought was going to be a haunted, abandoned log cabin in the middle of the woods in Welches, Oregon, close to Mount Hood. As it turns out, the cabin was not abandoned at all. When I did a reverse address lookup to figure out who lived there, I couldn't believe what I found. Chris and Wendy own the very haunted Welches Roadhouse. They also own a funeral home in Camas, Washington called Straub's Funeral Home. I can't believe when I actually went to look for who lived at this haunted cabin in the woods, it just happened to be the owners of a funeral home. It's too perfect. Chris and Wendy graciously allowed us to go forward with our episode, and not only that, they welcomed us into their home warmly, offering us drinks and good company. We even got to speak to someone in the house about his own paranormal experiences that he has had within the creepy cabin. Nariko and I had such a great time. If you want, take a look at the Instagram for pictures that go along with the episode. You can find us at Lit Dark Podcast. That's at LITDARK Podcast. Here's the episode. I hope you love it. Okay, I'm gonna put this in here. It sounds like they're going outside. I'm gonna grab my wine because that's like...
It's right here.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna sit here on the bed. If you want to sit next to me, I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
If you want to stand, whatever you
I think I might want to stand. Is that okay?
You know what's weird? Most comedians say that.
Yeah?
I like to sit because I have like a notebook to read from. But
I think as a comic, you feel like you're on your feet. It's like... It's just easier to think.
Comfort level?
Yeah, but it's also just easier to think. Like you're more active. You're feeling like you're... If that makes sense.
You're on your toes.
Yeah.
Literally.
I think they're... Okay, thought I was imagining that, but that's really happening. Are they listening to us? Yeah. Yeah.
For a second, I thought you were like, we might have a situation happening. Okay. I think I'm ready.
I think I'm ready.
So, we're gonna get going. For listeners, there's a family here. So they're walking around and they're fucking hammered. So like...
And they're really funny and they're nice.
They're awesome. And so like, you'll hear them probably walking around. So we are at the Welches Roadhouse is the name of this house. It's a log cabin in the middle of the woods. How would you describe where we are?
Evil Dead 1 and 2.
Totally. Oh my god, yes.
The family did a really great job of like making it very homey and nice.
Is.
But it's also like... But it's funny to see that juxtaposition of like, oh, there's like nice Christmas lights and like cool decoration. But you're like, but the walls are like just split rough wood that are like all gnarled and like all the door frames are wormwood. So there's this worm chewed whole split like trees and like so we're in an upstairs room and there's just rusty nails sticking straight through. And like I said, it's a really nice cabin, but it's also like there's these little horror tropes.
Oh my god, totally true.
There's these amazing horror tropes throughout.
Exactly.
And so it's
down to the carpet.
Exactly, yeah. So this room we're in has like a saffron colored carpet. And it's a pretty carpet, but it's also, and it's newish, but it's triggering like a lot of 70s horror stuff for me, where I'm like, it's very like, I'm like, it's very like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something. Like I'm getting, it almost looks exactly like Kodak color film stock or something, like where it's like that yellow gold, but it's, so.
It takes you to a certain mental place.
Exactly. Sure. So the whole place is like,
Yeah, it's a charming log cabin.
It is.
But it's also horrifying. The Evil Dead thing is totally true. It reminds me of Evil Dead for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't see that at first until you said that, but you're right.
Yeah, it's got all of the yeah, it's like oh, it's lived in, it's nice, but it's like it's just one howling wind thunderstorm and blackout away from being like not at all okay.
No, exactly right. So we are in a small bedroom on the second floor of this roadhouse. So real quick, interesting story about this place. When I did my research, all of it said that this house was abandoned. It was a vacant log cabin in the middle of the woods. Nariko and I were stoked to trespass, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, we won't
I was
pull any
down.
punches.
I was way down.
But I even have in my notebook, episode 15, Abandoned Welches Roadhouse.
Yep.
But 2 days ago, I decided to just cross my T's and dot my I's, and I did a reverse address lookup on White Pages. And I just wanted to make sure that this place was really abandoned. Once I got the actual address, I wanted to make sure. And I found it is, in fact, not.
Yeah.
People live here. This is their second home. It's kind of just their weekend getaway place. But I contacted the owner. His name is Chris, and he is amazing. And you can't make this up. This guy manages a funeral home. He's a mortician.
Yep.
It's just perfect. Like, it's just too perfect almost. It kind of just worked out way too well.
Yeah.
But he told me that him and his wife had no idea that this house was haunted before they bought it. They moved into the house, and then right after that, they met neighbors, and all of them were like, "Oh, you moved into the haunted house."
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah. I was just noticing here on the door frame, there's a scorch mark. It looks like it might be from like an old candle or like a lantern or something. I don't know
it's at
how.
the perfect height for if you were like walking out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, ugh.
Yeah. And I think too, like any old house like this, like you can tell how old it is. It just has stories. Like you can tell the stories in the walls. The whole house is like slanted a little bit. There's a little bit of a slant to all of it that is spooky and interesting.
Chris was saying that there's a huge stone chimney like off to the side, and it's gigantic. It's like almost 3 stories, and they said that it was pulling the whole house down like to hell if
straight towards where hell is.
Yeah, just toward hell. So really. So there's just it's charming, but it's also like oof. Like I said, like if you're like, this seems nice now, but like thunderstorm, howling wind, cracking tree branches, you'd be like, fuck
I'm
this.
Twice. Yeah. But at the same time, like all I can imagine is like, I'm sure they celebrate Christmas here and like a Christmas tree and just like snow. I mean, I'm sure it's very charming, you know, when it needs to be.
Yeah.
And also, it's also haunted as hell. Like, there's no doubt.
I think I'm bringing that much to it. Like, if I didn't know, I wouldn't care, and it'd be great. But if I'm,
I don't know.
But I'm bringing the horror. I know that something went down because otherwise it'd be a weird episode of the podcast.
Nothing happened here, but it's just a nice place.
Anyway, I just want to take you to a nice place I found.
Anyway, are you ready for the real episode?
Oh yeah, actually,
we gotta go.
Let's do it.
We gotta catch a flight. Okay, so before we get into it, the sources that I used for this episode were Ghostly American Places, a book by Arthur Myers, hauntedplaces.org, a book called They Came Back by Charles Raymond Dillon.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too. The title is perfect. They Came Back. Another book called Haunted Places, The National Directory by Dennis William Hawke. And ghostsandcritters.com. That's my favorite one.
Top 10 places to get murdered in Oregon.
Yeah.
.net.
This has come up on so many websites. If you look up the Welches Roadhouse, you'll see tons of research on it. And in fact, like when we got here, the owner said, "Oh, hey, by the way, I came across this book and this house is in it." And I haven't seen that one. There's a ton of books where this house is listed. So they're in for a surprise. I'm sure after this episode, they're going to look into it more and be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're at the Welches Roadhouse in Welches, Oregon, about 45 miles north of Portland. This is a 2-story home that was once used as overflow from a large hotel in town. Mm-hmm. It has since been abandoned. Wait, no, that's not true. This is in my notes before I realized that people lived here. It was abandoned for a minute.
Yeah.
And then now it's not. Great.
Yes.
It sits in the middle of the woods with a great view of Mount Hood. I wrote in my notes, I'm not sure if we'll be able to appreciate it in the dark. We were not. I mean, on the drive here, I didn't really notice it. This cabin was built at the turn of the 20th century. It was made from cedar, which is like every wall is wood.
Yeah.
It's completely wood.
It's like walking into a cigar box. It
is. Yeah. And you smell it right when you walk in.
It's amazing.
An overwhelming smell of cedar, which is beautiful.
Yeah. All the walls, like I said, are like split, like cedar beams. Like, so it's all, it's crazy and gnarled and uneven, but like rough and, I don't know, just very cool. Very turn of the century.
It looks mostly original. Like, I think they left a lot of it original. I know you asked Chris when we got here about that, but it does look like most of the original like architecture has been maintained, which is really cool. It has 3 bedrooms upstairs. So there's 2. This one what we're sitting in is one. There's one at the end of the hallway, and then there's one like half a stairway above us. Mm-hmm. And 2 staircases that lead to an indoor balcony.
Yeah.
On both ends of the balcony, you'll find doors that open to nowhere. Open air, 9 feet above the ground.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always a sign of nothing unsettling about it, really.
No,
just a door to nothing.
A little reminiscent of like the Winchester house.
Yeah, exactly. Very House of Leaves. Just like, and sometimes the door disappears and sometimes it reappears.
Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. It depends on what you believe.
It's like 3 inches to the left some days.
Yeah.
The house is bigger on the inside than on the outside.
You have to jump up to it, but like it's all just in your imagination. But so is everything.
Absolutely.
Reality is not real. So the reason for these doors, there's actually a reason for them being so high, is because apparently snowdrifts would actually pile up to that height, making them necessary. So,
okay.
Like when snow would get that high up, there's a reason for them being that high. This house was built by a pioneer on the Oregon Trail named Samuel Welch, who founded the town of Welches, Oregon.
Okay.
Welch put up several buildings in the valley, including a hotel that opened in 1890. Originally, the Welches Roadhouse was used for overflow of that hotel. It was also a stop for stagecoach passengers and has since been a ski lodge, a weekend retreat, and a year-round home. The cabin is situated behind the now-closed Old Welch's Inn bed and breakfast. Again, I wrote, it is now abandoned. It's funny because it's like, I wrote these notes at a certain point, and then I was like, I'm going to take a look at this. And then I was like, that's not true.
Yeah.
But I guess I didn't edit my handwritten notes.
It's quite hospitably.
It's actually not a bit. We were given drinks when we came in.
Very hospitable.
Very hospitable.
Yeah.
In fact, very nice host.
Yeah, you should just change. Yeah, you should have changed it to just hospitably populated.
Very populated by loving, welcoming people.
Very nice mortuary family.
A family, of morticians. Yeah, 4th generation.
Yeah, 4th generation.
Yeah. This building is believed to be haunted by a woman who was a caretaker at the inn when it was a hotel. Mm-hmm. There are actually a number of theories as to how this woman died. But it is known that she died violently.
Oh, great.
Yeah. The story is that the woman jumped from the 9-foot balcony. So that door on the left...
That's a weird way to go.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little bit. So that door over there that we were looking at, so for listeners, like I said, there's a door on the sides of the balconies that it's one balcony, but there's 2 doors. And they open out to just a 9-foot drop. And the doors there's nails in front of the door, so you can't open it anymore. Yeah. I tried to open it from both sides, like forward and backward. Yeah. You can't open those doors. But yeah, there's a door on both sides of this indoor balcony. Some believe that she did this to commit suicide, but others suggest that she could have been pushed. Mm-hmm. After all, who jumps from a 9-foot fall?
That's what I'm saying. That's a weird... Yeah. That's a non-committal suicide attempt if I've heard one.
It's almost like an attention-grabbing, like, watch this, and then fuck, like, you actually die.
I'm gonna drop... Yeah, that's like a sprain my ankle height more than... Exactly. Wait, that she was old, and then I could see...
No, she wasn't that old, but she hit a tree and snapped her neck. Okay. So she probably died instantly.
Okay.
But there is one story that suggests a possible scenario for her death. The story goes that there were 2 escaped prison inmates that had come to the Roadhouse seeking refuge. So remember, it was an inn at the time. Yeah. She was a caretaker at the inn. The woman hid them in a secret room upstairs, probably in the room that we're sitting in right now.
Great.
Yeah. It was suspected that one of the convicts was her lover.
Okay.
Eventually, the woman became pregnant. The prisoners had made plans of leaving the Roadhouse, and she may have threatened suicide if they left. However, her lover's partner, like the other convict, was violent and was said to have made advances toward her.
Okay.
So it's possible that her lover wanted to leave in order to protect her and his new baby. Some believe the woman flung to her death in a fit of hysterics at the prospect of her lover leaving her, where she ultimately fell into a tree, snapping her neck. Others believe that his partner actually was the one who pushed her to her death, in maybe like a jealous love triangle situation.
Yeah.
That, or perhaps it is the way a psychic once suggested when visiting the house. So a psychic walked through here, didn't know the story, and described what she was like experiencing, like visions she had as she was going through it.
Okay.
And she said that the woman had been backing up, intimidated by a person, and that she fell backwards out of the balcony door, striking her head on a rock.
Okay.
Which is actually more plausible.
That seems a lot more plausible to me.
Yeah, than like a suicide. Yeah.
Because like falling backwards, you can't break your fall at all. Nope. You're falling probably the worst way possible. Yeah, that's...
And on a rock, too. It's just like sheer dumb luck or lack thereof.
Absolutely.
Once, while digging under the house, a landlord did happen to find 2 old striped prison uniforms, perhaps lending somewhat to the credibility of this story.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's just a weird... It's like you could make a movie out of it or make a book out of it. Yeah.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Oh, what are these?
What a crazy... Even so, the story itself is shrouded in speculation. Mm-hmm. And who knows the order, maybe a landlord found the striped outfits and then they came up with the ideas of it.
Yeah.
But in the 70s, we were just talking about the 70s.
Yeah, where they put this carpet in.
In the 70s.
No offense to the carpet.
No, it's great.
It's a great carpet.
It's actually very fitting.
It is.
The place was bought by a couple who made it a rental property, and they eventually planned to make it into a retirement home. They had various tenants. What was that? Was that a cat?
There's no cat here.
I know, but...
There's 2 dogs.
Yeah, but did you hear that?
I did hear that. Oh, I'm touching the mic. Hold on. Oh, my God.
Okay. It's got a little fuzzball.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, my God. It's just, there's just a cat.
I don't think there's a cat here.
Was one of the prisoners a cat?
One of them was a cat. They were both cats. They were all cats.
Waffles pushed her to her death.
And Mr. Kibbles.
Mr. Kibbles and Waffles.
Not a good guy.
Escaped the pound. Oh my God.
Okay, so... Oh yeah, okay, so this couple bought the place in the 70s. They eventually wanted to make it a retirement home. But they made it a rental property in the meantime. And they had various tenants, and many of them reported ghostly experiences here. Which, now that I'm actually physically here, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
I could totally see that.
No, absolutely.
I could totally see moving into this room and being like, yeah, I'm going to get haunted as well. Like,
I'm getting the of just like laying here at night, being stupid quiet, and all of a sudden just like some loud bang, just one loud,
Just one.
you know, or like a lady
face.
scream or something.
Yeah.
A face.
A face.
Oh, I'm glad I'm near this old mirror.
Yeah, make sure you keep an eye on that mirror.
I will.
You don't know what's going to come
It
up.
moves a little.
That's just the alcohol.
Oh, that's probably true.
We were imbibing. So one tenant named Roger Mead told of an experience that his 8-year-old daughter had in the home. His daughter was sleeping in the room where the female entity in the house was believed to have once slept. She reported feeling as though she was being pulled out of bed and would land on the floor. Roger says she has never fallen out of bed before or since that experience. He later described how strangely difficult it had been for him to take decent photographs when living in the house. He said every photograph he had taken seemed to come out dark, nearly black. Which hopefully doesn't happen. Posting on the Instagram.
All my Instagram stories are all like just
It's
black.
like The Ring, where they're all like blurry faces.
Oh.
You're like, what the fuck?
Why did you take a picture of TV statics 12 times? I'm like, I didn't.
7 days. Roger says that, he later described, hang on, fuck, I keep like missing where I was.
No, it's alright.
Okay, the most alarming incidents was when Roger Mead, was attempting to light a candle and his finger broke. But he couldn't explain how it happened. He said it felt like a paranormal attack. And, like, just that alone made me picture just, like, lighting a candle. I don't know if he's using a lighter or matches, but either way, to just go to do something quick, to light a candle, and then just your finger cracks.
Yeah.
And breaks.
I wonder if it's a thing, like, so they were hiding prisoners. Maybe it's like, we can't light any candles.
Yeah,
we can't let anybody know that we're here.
Dark. Yeah.
Like, we gotta make, nobody can know you're here. So, like,
That actually makes sense for future hauntings that I'm going to tell you about. That's an interesting theory. I didn't even think about that. But to have your finger break, it's like a small but violent act that is just bizarre.
Oh, I'd punch a ghost in the face. He broke my finger.
How?
I don't know, but I'd fucking get real pissed.
That's so creepy.
That's super creepy.
It's so subtle.
That's
scary.
That would be a cool thing in a horror movie for sure.
Yeah. Well, they do. Actually, speaking of The Ring, remember in the like videotape in The Ring where they show the finger and like the nail coming?
Where their fingers are crawling on their like worms and they just stab themselves on nails.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I forgot about that. I just remember just seeing a finger like going through.
No, they were crawling like worms by themselves. They were.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's very JH.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. A number of tenants described frequent power outages. These alone weren't necessarily a cause for concern, but the strange ways in which the candles behaved when they lit them were. People described the flames of their candles taking on strange shapes, as though being blown by a heavy draft, though they felt nothing. Many people reported candles being inexplicably difficult to keep lit as well, which totally lends to your theory.
There we go.
Of trying to like keep everything shrouded in darkness.
Yeah, they were like, we can't let anybody know prisoners are here.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Like,
yeah, they'd be like, they're like, we just gotta lay low.
Especially if one of them is like your lover and you're trying to protect him and make sure,
Yeah.
Many more common ghostly experiences have been frequent occurrences here too. Footsteps can be heard throughout the house when nobody seems to be there. Lights have been turned on and off. Oh my god, what if that light in the room is
shut
turned
up.
off right now?
No.
Wouldn't that be
No,
so
I've been thinking about it
scary?
the whole time. I'm like, ugh. I'm like, what?
If it just flickered and turned off, or like where you're standing, so like listeners, I'm sitting on a bed we're in a really tiny room, and Nariko is standing across from me, and there's a tiny little dresser with a mirror on top of it. And where he's standing, I can see like the back of him is a reflection, but the rest of it is just the mirror. And if I just saw a person there, I'd be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But I know I'd be like, Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. I just take a picture.
No, I'm thinking of that exact same. Like, we're not only in a small room, but it's like an isosceles triangle. It's like a weird, sharp triangle shape. Yeah. So that's extra
out of
creepy.
Wood.
Yeah, it's
wormwood.
Yeah.
Cedar and wormwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really crazy.
Yeah. So let's see. Objects have been moved or disappeared altogether. People have reportedly heard the sound of a music box playing or the sound of a woman humming. That weirds me out.
I don't like that.
Yeah. In fact...
Ghost or not, I just don't like... I just do not hum around me. I don't appreciate that.
Oh my God, so true. Plenty of visitors have even seen the apparition of a woman here. She's described wearing a long, heavy, floor-length dress with puffy sleeves, and her hair is done up in a bun. Multiple people have seen her and described the same thing. She's often been seen in the second-story window, which... We're on the second story. I don't know which window we're talking about.
How about this one?
There's a window in this room. So she's often been seen in the second-story window.
I'm looking out the window now. Creepy.
Looking out at the river.
Okay.
Do you know where the river would be from?
I can only see creepy-ass trees.
Yeah, this side is where all the trees are. So, like, the door she fell out of would have been that one on the left of us, where she snapped her neck on the tree. But I don't know where the river is. But anyway, one of these windows she's seen in. Once, a tenant living in the house who used cocaine frequently described actually being reprimanded by the female apparition.
Was it Bobby Brown?
No, I'm sure it was just a dude. He reports that she warned him that she didn't want, quote, anything negative, unquote, happening in the house. So hide your blow. I mean, if you have some, let me take a look at it.
Well, she definitely doesn't want cops coming here. That's like her whole thing.
No, she's definitely looking out.
She's like, hey, fucker.
Hey, listen, you need to
I hate cops. That's like my deal. I'm trying to avoid cops.
That's true. She's hiding inmates. She's like, put your blow away.
She's like, what are you doing? Can bring cops here. All right, well, just a couple more lines. We'll go to bed.
It's fine. We'll go to bed. Yeah, then we'll go to sleep.
Let's go right to sleep.
I just need to, like, get the edge off the alcohol before we drive home.
That's it. That's it. That's all we gotta do.
Just sober up quick. No, just kidding. I'm not 21 anymore. A young man named Aaron... Mom, I'm kidding, by the way. I'm totally joking. I just assume that's what it's like. A young man named Aaron, who once lived in this home, had many personal experiences of seeing this same woman in his bedroom, which honestly is either the one we're in or the one across the hall from us. So it's one of two. We've had a 50-50 shot of the one he's talking about. Once he saw her sitting in a rocking chair, rocking back and forth in the corner of his room.
Nope.
So if that's in the room that we're in, the bed that I'm sitting on looks like it's like a twin-size bed. Yeah, that's what I was looking at too. This is like a twin-size bed, and there's just enough room for a rocking chair in the corner of the room. But it's so close to the bed that if it's the same room, that kid saw a woman in the rocking chair 3 feet away from him, I want to say.
Oh, yeah.
Like, very close to him. It's not like in the corner 10 feet away of a huge room. This is a tiny room.
Yeah.
You're laying on a twin-size bed. It's 3 feet away from you in a rocking chair in the corner of a wood cabin bedroom.
Ugh. There's going to be so much of me just being like, ugh.
That's every episode, don't worry. So he would see her rocking back and forth in the corner of the room, and she appeared shadowy to him, but he could make out the bun on the top of her head. Often she would do subtle things in his room, like turn off the stereo when he and his best friend Jake were playing the music too loudly, or hide blankets or hide objects in the room. But he did describe one terrifying experience he had of this woman that did not seem to match the gentle and wistful apparition many have described when seeing her. He said that he woke up one night to find the lady staring down at him. Which, now that we're in the room, this is a tiny fucking room.
Fuck that.
You already feel a little claustrophobic.
Yep.
And if you're laying here and someone's staring down at you, I'm picturing like a foot away from your face, like kneeling over your face. And that her face had transformed into a murderous rage, causing him to scream. That same psychic who visited the house suggested that this was not the same spirit others had seen, but that this instead was a violent, negative spirit that was impersonating the gentle spirit who also shared a presence in this home.
Great. So yeah, they're also an impersonator. That's not...
Well, like...
And a dick. Like, that's not a cool...
Either... Okay, in my mind, that's either like... I don't know how the ghost realm works. I have no idea.
Right.
But either that's another ghost who's like, you're not going to trust me in my normal form, so I'm going to take on the form of one you do trust and scare the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Or it's like a demon. Because a demon, you could almost see them taking on all kinds of forms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Got this thing that I want to say. Tell the driver that I can't stay.
What is the most magical musical? What is the spookiest sitcom? What is the sexiest seven? These are the important questions we ask every Wednesday on Bracket Royale. Hi, it's Chris Hotomy, the host of Bracket Royale, and on this show, I'm joined by two cool guests to debate, discuss, and discover what's the deal with all these topics. We use a handy-dandy bracket and have a lot of fun and fury. So check us out, and when you listen, you will find the answers you've been looking for.
Aaron's mother, Debbie, also described hearing deep voices coming from Aaron's room that frightened her. That's very The Exorcist. You know, like... It didn't say anything about, like, tongues or Latin or anything, but a deep voice that doesn't pertain to any person that lives there.
Yeah.
Scary as fuck.
Fuck yeah.
Multiple spirits have been seen or experienced in this house. Aside from the apparition of the woman, one man described seeing the apparition of a man carrying a knife.
Great.
Others have described seeing the spirit of a child.
Maybe that's a chef. It's a ghost of a chef.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think that's just going to work? He's just like a chef.
I see what you're saying, except, well, I'll probably get to it later, but the spirit of the woman is seen as like a positive, almost like a protective, like positive spirit.
Yeah.
And then there's a negative one. I think the one with the knife might be the mean convict that was here. Like, that's what I go to.
Yeah.
Others have described seeing the spirit of a child. So it's even been suggested that the child spirit that many have seen is actually the spirit of the fetus that the woman was carrying when she died.
Oh, wow.
So it's like who he would have been. Oh my God, I keep looking in the window behind you.
No.
And it's just like reflections of light playing off of, like, I use my hands when I talk, so like that keeps reflecting in the window, but I also keep looking like, what was that?
No. Oh, you mean behind me?
Uh-huh. Oh no, that woman. Who
Forever,
is she?
just ever present behind me is where you see that?
Oh yeah, that's really... There's always something behind you.
Great.
Forever there's something behind you that you can't see. A whole window. A whole row of windows behind
Why can't it be one of those sex ghosts, you know?
Yeah, that like fuck you while you're laying in bed.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just one of those.
I haven't done a haunted place yet about that, but I hope I find one soon.
That'd be really
weird.
That'd be really
not
funny.
that I want to get like raped by a ghost.
Right,
but,
right.
Like,
I think it usually happens. I feel like it happens to guys mostly, right? Or those are the stories I've always heard.
Well, I don't know.
You know, just some dude being like, I woke up and just getting pounded by a ghost. So
Really? It's always guys? I've
only heard it a few times, and it's always been a guy. So I don't know. It always is like a weird.
Maybe it's like a shame thing. Like guys are more willing to talk about it. Or
Maybe.
Something. But at the same time, like that's like the safest sex. You're not gonna have any issue of like an STD. You're probably not gonna get knocked up.
I'm sorry, Luis. You have ghost herpes.
you literally just got ghost AIDS. You're full blown.
You have Casper clap.
The Casper clap. You got smacked by the Casper clap. Good for you.
It's spooky. This is the spookiest kind of STD.
You're at Planned Parenthood and they're like, this is a weird question.
It's a spookily transmitted disease.
Have you? Yeah, an STD.
It's a specter transmitted disease. It's an STD.
Yeah, it's still an STD. It's not an STI. It's
Yes. Oof.
different thing entirely.
So sorry. Yeah. This is
the conversation at Planned Parenthood.
Dead ass is haunted,
unless Trump closes it down. But
yeah.
I mean, if they just end up asking you, like, have you had any weird dreams lately? Has anyone visited you in the night?
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, I love it.
So the family outside is like having a good time, like they're laughing and having a good time, but it also sounds like the howling of demons a little bit through the house.
It's just all context, yeah.
I'm like, I know what it is, but it also has a different sound.
Yeah, it's so cool that they let us be here. Like,
Yeah.
just once again, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Like, how awesome.
Yeah.
Especially last minute. Like, literally, it was 2 days ago that I
Yeah.
contacted them and was like, will you please let us come? We have all the
Yeah.
research done.
Absolutely. Yeah. So nice of them. And here's to hoping I get fucked by a ghost. I don't want to include any.
I mean, and maybe you'll take something with you, but what if you get fucked by a ghost, but they're not that good?
Oh, that'd be the worst.
What happens then?
Oh my god.
And you're like, this kind of.
They're like, I'm like, oh no, I'm. Oh, you're done? Okay, well.
Less teeth.
I get. I love. You're like, oh, this is bad even for a ghost. I'm guessing.
I thought, okay, I guess you're just human.
Okay,
You're just dead.
and now you're tired. All right.
I get it.
Okay, that's.
You've lived a long afterlife, I guess.
Slower than this. You want it slower than this.
You're exhausted, really. I thought that was just like a mortal thing that happened. I didn't know. Okay.
Aren't you kind of always at rest at this point? Or no, I guess you're not. That's the thing about ghosts. You're never going to rest. You're unrest. You're in a state of unrest.
Yeah, there's unfinished business. It's always unfinished.
My business is getting unfinished. I mean, you need to finish my business, frankly. Yeah. You started this business.
I have business for you to finish. Oh, perfect.
Oh, my God.
So the woman's spirit is generally understood to be a sweet, sad, melancholy spirit that means no harm. Mm-hmm. Another entity here is said to feel angry, oppressive, and dangerous. I picture it being... Honestly, I think that she was either threatened by or intimidated or murdered by this other inmate that was here.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the other spirit that's here. Some have reportedly experienced all three spirits, possibly the two former inmates and the woman, carrying on their sad, strange love triangle in the afterlife. But I kind of want to talk a little bit about the child spirit. Because the idea that she had a fetus inside of her and that she died either by committing suicide, which I don't buy, or by being pushed out of this side door. If she died with the fetus inside of her and then the spirit took on the form of a more grown child, that's just fascinating.
It is. It's like it says a lot about fate and...
or what could have been.
But yeah, exactly. Like all those things. You're like, well, if they were destined to be a little bit, then what happened? Like what?
There's no... Well... well, if he took on the form of a child, then there is no destiny.
You know what, though?
It's almost like his destiny was supposed to be a child, and he never made it out that
Exactly,
far.
that's what I'm saying. But why would you take on an older form? And
maybe
why?
You get to choose.
That's true.
Like maybe if you die when you're 80, but when your loved one dies and they see you, you're 25. Maybe you get to choose the form that you're in. And maybe there's this idea of like, you are a soul that lives through multiple lives.
That's true.
And maybe that child was like, this is who I could have been. Because there is no fate. It is random. We don't know what happens, but we have enough lives to just try it out. Also,
it was the late 1800s, so I mean, kids die all the time. That's why you had 9 of them, because you were gonna lose. You're gonna lose 6 easy.
Yeah, it's
way early.
Game.
Oh my God, yeah. They just All the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So there's probably like 40, 45, 50 dead kids.
Here.
Yeah. There's just a little pet cemetery in the back row.
Oh my god, I love that book.
It's great.
Love the movie. I heard they're remaking that movie.
That'd be a great remake.
No, they are remaking
Because
it.
the second one sucked so bad.
Wait,
and the
they
first
made a
one wasn't.
second one?
Yeah, they made Pet Cemetery 2.
I didn't like the first one.
The first one was not great.
Except
the second
for
one was.
Judd. I think Judd was well played.
Yes. The first one was not great. The second one was unwatchable horseshit. Like,
Maybe I did remember they made a sequel, but I don't think I saw it.
it was not. It was so not good.
The first one was one of my favorite books growing up, so I was so offended by the first one that I just could not.
And, well, I will say this about the first Pet Cemetery. I had that Sweet Ramones song, Pet Cemetery,
Oh, I don't...
which is great.
The Ramones made a song called The Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, they had a song on the soundtrack called Pet Cemetery. The cool thing about it is it's kind of a sad song. Like,
well, it's kind of a sad book.
it is. Well, the thing was like he's just he doesn't want to be pet. He doesn't want to live his life again. Okay, that's insanity.
What, you guys are done?
Yeah.
All right, you want to hear some ghost stories?
Yeah.
We do.
I'm refilling my whiskey jug. So.
Oh, tight.
Okay,
You have a
cool.
jug? You're like in just the right amount.
Just a gallon. Yes,
Of whiskey.
this is the door we're
Yeah.
a lot of.
Sorry, I just want to take a picture of the nail
No, you're fine.
blocking the door.
So you're ready to go? Will's going to tell the story?
You're gonna tell us the story. We're gonna give him a
Can I go
microphone.
listen?
Yeah, absolutely. Come with us. I'm sorry, what was his name? Mike?
Some people call me Will most of the time.
Do you want me to call you Will?
Well, that would help.
Should I call you?
I'd probably respond.
Okay, Mike, why don't you show us?
All right, we're done.
Alright. Okay, great. So let me set you up with a microphone.
Which is all.
Will, right?
Yeah,
Will.
Mike for short.
Whatever.
Okay, so the story is this. Chris and Wendy bought this place in 2016,
Right.
correct?
Yes.
And so the first time we were invited up here was New Year's Eve, 2017.
Okay.
So on our way up, we're driving up. Vicky, who is sleeping upstairs in the room up here, had to make a phone call. And so because we were driving, whatever, she was like, hey, do you have headphones? And I said, yes, I have a set behind my seat. You can grab that set there. And they were in a case, a zipped up case. So we're driving through Sandy. She pulls the headphones out, puts them in her ears, says they're too big, puts them back in the case. Mm-hmm. We pull up, we park, which you can't see, but is right out here where my truck is. Mm-hmm. So whenever we travel, when I'm in a strange bed, I always put in headphones just to kind of kill the noise, just kind of get relaxed. So
Plus
we come
you're
in
in a
here.
haunted ass cabin. So
Yeah,
you're just
so we
like-
show up. This is the first time we came to this cabin. We show up, we're here at this cabin,
Yeah.
and Chris is walking us around. And so I'm like, this is kind of an interesting place. And Chris says, oh yeah, I heard it's haunted. And so I'm really open to these things.
Okay.
And so I'm looking around, I'm thinking, well, this might be cool.
Right.
And so I had the kind of this feeling that something could happen. So as we're sitting here talking, I'm standing right here where I'm at.
And for listeners, we are in the living
We're
room
in the
of
living
the
room.
cabin.
Yeah.
Of the cabin. I'm standing technically on the west side of the cabin, and on the east side of the cabin, I'm going to walk over here, is this lamp. Although Ashton, who is recording this, does not believe this.
No, I was there.
I know, you were
not
there.
a believer, but we're going to keep going.
So Chris is standing here.
Yeah.
Ashton is standing here.
Yeah.
He's telling me about the house.
Yeah.
And as he's talking, this lamp picks up and lands on the floor.
Okay, so you see it lift and
It
fall.
basically flew like this.
Okay, and it knocked over things.
And this has some weight to it.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
So it lands on the floor in between both of them. Correct, Chris?
Correct.
So
Verified.
Chris, so it was kind of interesting because I thought, well, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So we go upstairs to the room upstairs up here, and I think, okay, I need to go get my headphones. I go out to my truck, grab the case, come upstairs to the room, which is up there, open up the case. The case is empty. Completely empty. So I look at Vicky and I say, did you put the headphones back? And she goes, yeah. She goes, you watched me put them back. And I thought, yeah, I did. And so right at that moment, I thought something's up. And so I went out to the truck and I looked again. And nothing was in there. And so I went upstairs and I just had this gut feeling that something was up. And so we went to bed that night. The next morning I go out, I tear the truck apart looking for the headphones, nothing. And so that's New Year's Eve. That night, everything's fine, whatever. New Year's Day, we're going to go snowboarding right up the hill here at Mount Hood. And so I remember that night, when I went to bed, I opened up the case and I thought, where the hell are these headphones? And I thought, wouldn't it be weird if they were just in here? And I opened up the case, looked in there, it was empty. Put the case back on the dresser. So basically set it down on the dresser. The next morning, New Year's Eve, I get up, I come downstairs, go around, take a shower, come back up, and when I walk through the door, everything creaks in here because it was built in like the 1800s. So everything creaks. So I'm trying to sneak through. I get up there, Vicky's awake because it's noisy, and I say, I don't have a clue where these headphones are going to end up. And so I had opened up the case again, left it open on the dresser, and I was just like, I don't know where they're at. Started getting dressed, leaned down, pulled a sock on, noticed something, looked up, and the headphones were laying over the case.
Over the case.
Oh, really?
And Vicky was awake.
And that's one of the things that we found in this house was that objects would be moved and hidden and then replaced. So
with all of this, when they were talking about how these things were going to happen, when they were explaining about the ghosts and stuff, I was like, okay, let's see what happens inside. And then when the headphones, I grabbed them. And I looked at Vicky and I said, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And I turned my flashlight on him and I showed her and she was blown away. And then I just stood up.
Ectoplasm.
And so I stood up and I just smiled and I just went, touche. Because I had asked for it. After that, the next time we came back, well, on top of that, that same day we had another couple that was up here in this room. Up there in the top. And so when they went to leave...
He has a personal video that's being filmed with a cell phone that he is currently directing right now.
So when they went to leave, the family left everything. They got down the road. They come back and the husband is like, I can't find my wallet. And they started looking everywhere. They looked in the car. They tore the car apart. They looked all through the room. They went back, and inside his duffel bag was a hidden, zippered compartment that he didn't know was there, and the wallet was in the inside of that.
Oh, crazy.
And so
How much crazier would have been if you were cracking open like an egg to make breakfast and your cell phones came out?
My egg, my keys.
Your keys come out. You're like, what?
And so that was the two
your
things.
Car and you're like, something's in the way of headphones.
So that was the two things. The next time we came up, this is the third time I've been to this cabin. The second time we came up, I was like, okay, what's going to happen? Went into the bathroom. If you walked back there, you saw like the house lists. Everything leans to the north.
We noticed that,
So when you open up the bathroom door, you have to put down a stopper to keep the door open.
Okay.
So so the door leans to the jamb. And so the last time I was in there, last time I was here, the door was closed. I reached out for the door, and the door flew open and hit me in the hand. Which is uphill. Tonight.
Oh, what?
True story. While you guys were upstairs doing your podcast.
No way.
And I didn't say this to anybody.
Oh, no.
When you guys were upstairs doing your podcast, the dog was by the front door over here walking around, and there was a black mass walking past that table.
Shut the fuck up. Are you serious?
Yep.
Holy shit.
Nice.
I was sitting out there, and I looked in here, and I could see it walking past the table.
No.
And I didn't tell anybody because I knew that we were recording this.
Like a shadowy figure was
yeah,
walking
just like
by?
a line, like probably this wide, which is probably 12 inches wide, 6 feet tall, and it walked right past the table.
Typical lady ghost with, if I would.
Wistful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are the stories that I've had here.
Wow. Well, thank you.
And for you ladies at home, there you go. That's
Thanks, ladies at home.
And Will still come to stay the night.
Yeah, and
awesome.
he still hangs out.
But no,
That
it's
is
fun
weird.
because I'm like super open to this stuff. I watch all these things. I love this stuff.
I hope you had so much fun exploring the haunted Welch's Roadhouse with Nariko and I. A huge thank you to Mike or Will or whatever the hell that guy's name was for telling us his own stories in the house. Don't forget to check out Nariko Ott's podcast, What's More Metal. He co-hosts the show with Dan Weber, a guest I have previously had on this show. It's hilarious and I love it. If you live in Portland, go see Nariko Ott at Helium on August 1st, 2018 for the Dirty Dozen Roast Battle. If you don't, be sure to follow him on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find him at Nariko_Ott. That's at NARIKO_OTT. While you're at it, check us out on social media too. You can find us at Lit Dark Podcast. We have new merch available now on the website, litdarkpodcast.com. That's LITDARKpodcast.com. If you purchase any of our merchandise, be sure to tag us in your picture wearing it and we will post it on our Instagram. If you love this show, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes and let us know what you love about it. It means so much to us. Special thanks for this episode goes to Sarah Schneider, my manager, Jonathan Cooper, my graphic designer, Randall Lawrence, my producer, Nick Wilson at Bridge City Media and Design, Dan Stutzman for being you and all you do, Nariko Ott, my guest, Chris and Wendy for their hospitality, and as always, a special thank you to all of you. Thanks for listening.
River City Podcast Federation.